Welcome to HOD Live. We are here in our HOD Live studio. Tonight is Friday night, August. What's the date?
September.
I'm sorry, September the 6th, not August. It's pumpkin spice season at Starbucks. So we're here again in HOD Live studio. We have a new face, a new co-host around the discussion table. You've been here before.
Yes, I have.
Stacy Shelton. Let's welcome her.
Thank you.
Where's my sound effect? So normally we begin by just kind of going around the table and hearing what's good, recommendations, and if you encountered anything pleasant this week that you like to share. We've done everything from, I think, facial wash, Burt Bees wax facial wash to restaurants. Courtney's sick, so I'm sure she had something, but we'll have to hear about it next week. First Lady, what have you experienced good after just getting back in town?
After just getting back in town, I just got back in town on Wednesday, and I was definitely jet lagged, so I've been doing a lot of resting.
For those who don't know, she was in San Diego for a few days.
I was. It was wonderful.
How was the Greyhound bus ride out there?
Oh, you stop playing.
How was the flight?
The flight was good. No problems. It departed on time, both going and coming back. I had an amazing flight attendant on the way back. She was funny. She was, telling jokes and
wasn't better than Mother Jackie would have been. She was a flight attendant.
Of course not.
Yeah.
So that was fun. It was interesting. I mean, really good customer service, which is so rare this day and age.
Yeah.
In fact, I had to call Southwest Airlines. That's how I flew. I had to call them more than once, and both times the customer service was exceptional. And so it's my flight to and from. So exceptional customer service is surprising and rare this day and age. So
How was the trip?
It was wonderful. I had a good time. The weather was fantastic. It was great seeing my family. One of my sisters I had not seen in many, many years.
Wow.
And my other sisters I had not seen in about 5 years when they came out here to St. Louis. So good to see everybody. Saw nieces and great nieces and great nephews. So it was good.
So let me get this right. You had a blast while I was here fighting for my life, huh?
I did feel guilty, Pastor.
You were in sunny San Diego, and I was here fighting for my life, huh?
If there's any consolation, I did talk about you a lot.
That's
I got
good.
a little nervous.
Good things. Good things or bad things.
All good. All good.
First Lady showed me a flight, an airline that's luxury. I don't even know if the brand of the airline, but you go to this lounge and they serve you all this food.
Qatar?
It's not Qatar, but
It was
something
in
else.
France. It was in France, I think.
Yeah.
And they had like video games.
You
and
laid
the-
all the way
suites laid
down.
back
I'ma
like
have to find that
this
out.
and, you know.
But I was saying I would never spend that much
Yeah.
on, because at the end of the day, you're still in a plane.
Yeah.
Right.
And you still get to the
exactly.
same place. You know,
Yes.
I'd rather spend the money in the destination than I never would fly first class if I had to pay for it. Now, when I was in the military
You get
and I would
upgraded.
travel, right, they would
Yeah.
upgrade you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I never would pay for first class,
Yeah.
just,
My
out of
sister
my
who-
own pocket.
My sister who flew out there, she did fly first class, and she said it was just so comfortable.
Which
So-
Frida flew? Oh, wow. She paid for it?
Yes, she
Oh,
did.
wow. Ballers, huh?
Now I did. Now I want
What's
to.
Frida's number?
And she said she normally wouldn't do that, but this time she said, it's a long.
It was a
flight.
long flight.
Yeah, for her, it's
New
like-
Jersey to California.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
So she said it was a long flight.
Wow.
Now for me, I upgraded to business select, and I did that because I was
That's
traveling by myself.
Mhm.
With Southwest Airlines, you do not have boarding. I wasn't using a wheelchair, whereas in the past I had to, and I would get priority
Mhm.
boarding.
Mhm.
I don't want to take advantage of that if you don't need it.
Yeah.
And so I said, just go ahead and pay for a priority
Right.
boarding. It's no benefit of doing business select other than priority boarding.
But you did get, because of me and my tutelage, you did get your TSA pre-check.
I did.
Yeah,
I
I have
did.
TSA pre-check.
That was worth it. Now,
Oh.
on the way there, I didn't get a chance to use it because you have to log in to get your number.
Mhm.
And for whatever reason, the system wasn't working for me to get my number. On the way back, even though I couldn't log in and get it, I called I called the TSA office and they gave it to me. And I went right through, and that security line on the way back was packed. So it was a blessing going through TSA.
Now, I was
pre-check.
joking about the Greyhound and
She
First
plays
Lady.
too much. And I heard
First-
something else she joked about.
What?
About
Well,
our
calm
oven, and
down.
we don't need a stove because I don't never
Oh,
cook. I
Simmer
heard that
down.
sermon
Settle
on Sunday.
down. Settle down.
I heard
Settle
that
down.
sermon on Sunday. Yes, I did.
Is it the braids? But
I was listening on Sunday.
that's good. I heard you. Right, First Lady. You've never ridden the Greyhound.
No, sir, I have not.
You've never experienced the pleasure
You're
of
not
the
missing
Greyhound.
it. Yeah,
From
I
what
don't-
Where did you ride the Greyhound from?
So let me see. When we used to go to Virginia,
Mhm.
we've done that.
St. Louis to Virginia.
I think we did it to San Antonio, Texas.
Mhm.
I think we've done it to South Carolina. That was how.
Wow,
we used to
Stacy
travel.
is a Greyhound.
Yeah, it's not good.
You're
It's
part
not
of the
good. Look
elite
at this
club.
face. It's not good.
Yeah,
So-
Greyhound is an experience in
It's
itself.
an
I remember I
experience.
rode the Greyhound from here to New York to visit my sister,
Yeah.
and the bus broke down somewhere
no.
in Ohio,
Oh, no.
middle of the night.
Wow.
They had to take all. They had to take all of the luggage. It's not funny.
Everything off.
Out of the bus.
Oh
So
my goodness.
this lady, so they're transferring the luggage. So this lady apparently had all her stuff in these black garbage bags,
Oh my
Oh
right?
my God.
And
That
so
thing is real. I
the
thought-
guy was getting ready to throw them away, and so
No,
she
she's
says,
like, no.
"That's my luggage, man." But it's not funny. The thing with the Greyhound is don't sit in the back of the
Yeah,
bus
don't
because that's
sit
where
in
the
the back.
bathroom is,
Yes.
and that smell just wafts out.
But
So
I'm sorry to say, it's not just the bathroom. It's also the creepy people sitting in the
a
back.
lot of
Yes.
yes.
Wow, that's
So,
a shame.
You know, when my mom was traveling with us, she's like, "Don't you sit back there?" No.
You don't want to sit in the back of a Greyhound.
Yeah,
You want to sit
don't
in
ever
the
sit
front of
back
the
of
Greyhound.
As a matter of fact, you
Wow.
want to see the driver. Like you see me, make sure
Yes.
I get off and on.
The Greyhound stations, you want to kind of it's an experience. So okay, Stacy, tell us a recommendation, something that people should know.
Okay. So I didn't do anything this week
Mhm.
because a lot of working going on. But I will always recommend Cafe Mochi on South Grand.
What is that?
It is a sushi place.
Mm.
And when I say it is my favorite place.
Sushi.
Yes.
Mhm.
And the thing is, it's always fresh. The people are always welcoming. You can come on in. They'll have a seat for you. They have plenty of seats. So find yourself at Cafe Mochi.
HOD Live, sponsored by Cafe Moche.
She's right. It is
Uh,
good.
I've never been there.
Sushi, please.
I love it.
I get all my sushi, believe it or not, from Quick Trip. No, I'm just playing.
Did you see that face? Did you see me go? No, he doesn't.
No, I don't.
I thought he was
Um,
gonna say Dearborn. I was gonna say okay.
well, they have it. Sometimes I'll get it in First Lady hates. I'll get it from Sam's. She hates. She doesn't even like Whole Foods. She's
Really?
a she's
I
a
don't
she's
like
a
their
snob.
sushi. I don't like their sushi.
Oh, I thought you was gonna
Oh.
say like Whole Foods in general. You don't like?
Oh, I like Whole Foods. I
why?
don't like their sushi. Yeah, I like
Yeah.
Whole Foods.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like Whole Foods and Trader Joe's. Trader Joe's
I do
more than
too.
Whole Foods.
I like trade. We had some cauliflower tempura from
Very
Trader.
good.
Very
I've had
good.
that.
Very good. Very good.
Now, what did you do that was special? I was gone. For
Well,
a few
two
days.
things.
What did
Two
you do when I was
things.
gone?
She wants to
I
know.
made friends with a raccoon that
And
lives
he is
near our
not
house.
playing. He is
I'm
not playing.
serious.
He's one hanging out in our little.
So I have
area.
cats. You have raccoons.
In the yard.
I've been feeding it.
So it keeps
You haven't
Yeah, I've been feeding it. I've been feeding them. I'm slowly. I'm creating a army of critters.
I have a video that I'm gonna send you.
Okay.
Somebody fed some raccoons, and then thousands of them came to
I
their
think I've
porch.
seen
Oh,
that. Yeah.
You've seen that?
Mm.
You better
All
stop
right.
feeding that
Right.
raccoon, Pastor.
No, let's see. Interesting thing. I shared a video with a couple of the saints today of the first black F-22 pilot, and F-22
Air
is
Force.
yes. I'm getting to that first lady. I'm getting
Air
that.
Force, yeah.
Calm down. Calm down.
Air Force.
For 2 weeks, right?
Hey, it was longer than 2 weeks.
All right.
It was 6 weeks.
All right, 6 weeks. So this is the
right,
first
Tracy.
black F-22 fighter pilot. F-22 is one of the, and the way it works is to be a pilot in the Air Force, first you have to be an officer in the Air Force, and then you go to flight school. And based on your grades and your performance in flight school,
Yeah.
that's how they select you for different planes. So if you're at the bottom of the class and you're flying like a cargo plane,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
if you're in the, then it goes up. Well, F-22 is one of the top billets or assignments. And so this black fighter pilot is the first black F-22 pilot. So the video on TikTok is him going to the plane, getting salutes. And I shared it because the young man was very, I mean, just the professionalism
Yeah.
and the black
And
excellence
the
was,
discipline.
and the
yeah.
discipline.
Mhm.
I don't think you shared that with me.
I'll send it to you. I'll send it to you.
Yeah.
So speaking of black excellence and young people, I want to talk about our first article deals with HBCUs, right? And I was watching another TikTok, and this guy was saying that he hates HBCUs. He says that they're very expensive. The schools are not that good. The graduation rate is not that good, which I completely disagree with that. There are wonderful black colleges and universities. In fact, you know, they produce students that have went on to
They
do
produce
great
excellence
things,
a lot of
right? So
times.
and this was a black man that was saying that.
Right.
Oh,
So that was a horrible thing, yeah.
Right.
But not all of them.
Was
just
he burned or something?
I don't
Like,
know. You know,
by
nowadays you
HBCU?
have black folks that hate black people, to put it bluntly.
Yeah.
You know, you have self-hating black people that think for whatever reason.
That lady I shared with you that one time when we were talking, Candace.
Candace
Oh,
Owens,
yes,
right?
yes.
You know, black people that just black men that hate black women that hate black men.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just it's silliness to me.
Yeah.
Anyway, but you have good black schools, you have bad black schools, you have good white
Right.
schools, you have bad white schools. Well, Langston University would fall into the category of a bad black university. Langston University, which is in Oklahoma, get this. Their 4-year I can't say that word. Graduation rate is guess what their 4-year graduation rate is?
20%.
30.
The national average is 37.92.
Wow.
That's nationwide.
That's the national.
The Langston is 5%.
Oh, no.
wow.
5%.
Oh,
5%
no.
of the students who
Graduate.
go actually graduate.
Oh no.
So I said that because I need
That's
to
bad.
keep this in context for what's
Right,
this
right.
next.
About to be said.
Right. So, but imagine if you're sending your kids, your son or your daughter, paying all this money, sending them to college, and that's the graduation rate. And then two, you're investing all of this stuff, and they go to school and they are more interested in socializing than they are school. So you guys can follow on your phone. Langston students fighting for the right to party after city passes new ordinance. Right out of the Beastie Boys. So Langston University, you know that I knew somebody would. That's right. They don't know. They don't know. Beastie Boy, they don't know. They don't know. See, I told you they didn't know. You know who Beastie Boys? See, I told you they don't. They don't.
Okay, I know.
I'm glad you showed up, Rita East. So students at Langston University are frustrated. They should be frustrated in the library, but they're frustrated after the city passed a new ordinance banning students from having parties off campus. Students at Langston University are frustrated after the city passed a new ordinance banning students from having parties off campus. I just read that. Langston Mayor Michael Boyles said the new rule is due to parties getting unruly and hopes the new ordinance will put a stop to them. We're students. We're just trying to have fun. We want to have fun. We understand protocols and everything else, but I feel like don't take the fun and restrict us, says London Brookins, a senior at Langston University. After the ordinance was passed, the latest, get this, Thirsty Thursdays.
Thirsty Thursdays.
What?
Thirsty Thursdays party was shut down hours later. We walked up and said, "What's going on? What's the problem?" There was no fights, no altercation, no nothing. And they were like, "Well, from our sheriff department and mayor of Langston, you guys can't have parties or can't have no parties in the city," Brookins said. Boyles told Coco 5 that the city passed an ordinance in a meeting on Thursday because police had to have backup law enforcement to help shut down a previous party. He said it was hard to contain and described it as pandemonium. Boyle said the rule is something the campus already has in place and the city is just following the school's lead. Brookins said he acknowledged some parties can get out of hand. I understand their frustration when it comes to that, he says. Coming back from the city, driving so far is what we're not trying to have. That's why we want to have things at Langston so we can walk to the party, walk to this event, and everyone can walk back to their homes so we don't have to worry about driving, DUIs. That's very admirable. That's reasonable. While Brookins said he wishes there was another form of communication prior to the ordinance vote, he said he'll do what he can to work with the city to keep the fun going in a safe way. We're willing to work to see what we can do, come up with ways where we can have a safe environment, but cutting everyone off completely cold turkey is just like, why, he said. I have several reactions, but I was curious, what are your reactions to Langston and their party thing?
Is this new ordinance only affecting Langston students? Is it affecting other colleges in the area too, or just this?
I doubt that Langston really has any other colleges. It seems like this is their major college.
No, I'm saying this is in Oklahoma, right?
But it's the city of Langston, right?
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So okay. I was gonna say if it's something that applies to other schools or just this school. I understand why it would be done. What's the mayor's name again?
I don't know. Boyles.
It sounds like he might be a person of color. Doesn't? I don't know.
I don't know.
I mean, to me, that sounds reasonable.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds reasonable.
What the ordinance, the party ordinance?
It's just that you can have parties in the city. It could be for their own safety. This is a HBCU, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's HBCU. I think it's for their own safety, personally. I mean, that may be the argument they're using. You know, I'm fine with that. And your main goal in college, we got to get our priorities straight.
That's true. That's true.
You're not there to party. You're there to learn, get an education, and you really have to apply yourself and do well in a school like that because it is a HBCU. You are going to have some people or some employers that are going to look down anyway. So you can't afford to come out of a HBCU with a so-so GPA. That's why that
Or
graduation
not
rate
come
is
out
only
at all, right?
or 5% graduation rate because their priorities are not in order.
Yeah.
Well, you didn't live on campus in college.
I did not.
Yeah,
I
and
did
so as someone who did live on campus, did you live on campus?
No.
Okay. Someone who did live on campus,
I did
not.
I don't care what the school is, there will be that social environment. I don't think it's necessarily reasonable to say to these students, you can't have any type of.
No, they're saying you can't have parties in the city. They could do it on campus.
Yeah, but they're trying to. It's a small community, and so I'm assuming they have different type of house parties or whatever. Maybe, and I don't know if the campus is allowing it or the campus is even set up, or sometimes there's fraternity houses
Yeah.
off
Yeah.
campus.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, and you're right. I think that when you are in school, that you have socialization, partying, and all that stuff is antithetical to you going to get education.
Right.
I say that knowing that is a truth. That's the way it should be. But I also know the way things are.
Yeah.
And, to expect 18, 19, 20-year-old college students not to have these functions is unrealistic. One of the things a young man said that I think is admirable is that they're trying to have these things close to campus
Yes,
so they
absolutely.
don't get DUIs and
Exactly.
can walk.
Mhm.
So but with a 5% graduation rate,
That's where I'm going.
yeah, somebody is
This-
not has their priorities messed up.
Yeah, this is my problem with the situation, that 5%. Here's the thing. People keep enrolling, and it's an HBCU. HBCUs have a reputation. You know what I'm saying? I'm just thinking, if the focus, like there was Thirsty Thursdays, that bothers me.
Right.
So
Thursday,
much.
Thursday.
But it seems to me from the article that the focus is more on the fun. They kept saying fun.
Right.
Right,
Well,
right.
my thing is, are we directing your kids? When kids go to college, they're at that crux between high school, where everybody told me what to do and I was made to do here and stuff like that, and branching off into adulthood where you're
Right.
doing it more on your own. They're not going to make the right decisions. I know I was a
Right.
silly freshman and I caught the bus to the parties at SLU. But so what I'm saying is, I don't put the onus so much on them to be responsible,
Right.
but more so the overarching school.
Right.
You have a 5% rate. What are you doing to push them to move towards adulthood?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because my thing is, it didn't get to be 5%, and we're just like, oh, that's great.
Right.
Right.
What are you doing to change that as an
Right.
HBCU? You know the reputation and the weight that you carry as an HBCU.
Absolutely.
So I'm looking at you, Langston.
Langston.
Yeah,
Right.
Langston. I'm
Right.
looking at you saying, what are you doing to change this?
Exactly.
While they're
Right.
having the fun, are you focusing them and saying, this is your future. You got to make the right decisions now.
Right.
Because I'm not counting on the kids who are at that crux state where they don't know how.
Right.
Right.
They need leaders to lead them to that way.
Excellent point.
That's
I think you've converted me. I do blame the administration, parents, and even the school systems that have produced
Yes.
this. And let me just blame everyone. Even culturally,
Right.
this thing where, our young people, and it's not just, I'm just speaking our just because that's what this is about, but it affects all young people. But somehow to go to college and not really get the fact that you are there on assignment to do work.
Yeah.
I mean, not saying you're not going to ever leave your dorm room,
Right.
but somewhere along the way, this communication or instilling of excellence and
It's not in our.
is not happening. So these young people are going, they're wasting their parents' money, they're wasting their time.
Yes.
Right.
They're in a school, 5% graduate, and there's a video that isn't on here. It was on the TikTok of these Langston University students. I mean, there's partying, fraternity stepping. I mean, it looked like they were just
Yeah.
they were majoring in party, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, they're not graduating.
That's what I'm
Right.
saying. And again, I say, you as a school having the weight or carrying the HBCU, you have a almost mandate because where that came from,
Yes.
looking at the history of how we pushed for Black colleges, we pushed for that kind of stuff. You can't just let that all go to the ground. You know what I'm saying? You
Right.
have to
Right.
put and enforce and say, hey, this is why we need you all to graduate. This is why we need you all
Right.
to, you know what I'm saying?
Here's the thing, though, and it's kind of these HBCUs are in a bind because you have HBCUs like Hampton, Howard, Morehouse, some of your more well-known HBCUs, right? And Ariel said it makes it worse. What's she say? Ariel, who went to HBCU, says it makes it worse that Langston is the HBCU and people already look down. I agree.
That's what I'm talking about.
So you have these HBCUs, Howard, Hampton, Morehouse, Spelman, who are Clark, just nationally known, that are more the acceptance rate is it's harder to get accepted
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
So then you have other HBCUs, like the acceptance rate at Langston says NA, which is not applicable, meaning they accept anyone.
Everybody. Yeah.
Anyone with
Yeah.
a high school diploma can get into Langston,
Yeah.
right? But you need that too.
Right.
You need a school
A healthy
that's going to
balance, yeah.
accept anyone because of space. And not everyone's coming out of high school with a
Prepared.
4.0 or 3.0. Some people are coming out of high school with a 2.0
Yeah. Yeah.
who messed up in high school, but who are getting their act together and still want to go to college. So you need an
That's a good
HBCU like that.
Right.
The problem is if you get an HBCU that's acceptance rate is not non-applicable, then you're going to get a lot of folks there who are just there to party.
Yeah.
So I mean, how do you? It's almost like a
Balance it.
catch-22, right?
Well,
I think some of the responsibility does have to go back on the parent because if you're a parent and you could not afford to live in a certain zip code, so your child is a product of a public school system that has basically failed them, you could still be on top of your kid and setting rules to your kid. The priority for your kid doesn't have to be getting the latest Jordans or getting sometimes our priorities as a Black community are not in order. And we are, unfortunately, one of the groups that really fail in this area. If you're an Asian child, education is important. It's most important. The hours of time that you're going to spend studying and preparing and to be prepared for the world is not what we do. We got to study for a couple hours and we're murmuring and complaining. Their focus is on education. Some of us, not all. I'm saying, and I don't mean to generalize, but a good portion of our population, our priorities are not in order. It's about having the latest this and the latest that. And we'll spend money on designer bags and designer this to feel better about ourselves, but our priorities are not in order. We don't spend our priorities grooming our kids and telling them it's okay to be smart. It's okay to be a nerd. In our communities, we act like it's a problem with being nerdy. Since when is being smart and intelligent?
You are a nerd.
I am.
I'm a nerd too, though.
I am.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
since when? I mean, we treat those things as if they are, and so we're
Right.
sending and we're sending these kids off to college ill prepared. So it's partly the public school system that has failed. It's parents that sometimes have failed, and I'm not talking about the parent who lives in certain areas, but instill certain values in their kids. Because there's a lot of people from certain that are excelling in life and excelling in their fields and fields of science and all those things.
Yeah.
So I'm not talking about those, but I'm saying the overwhelming. It's a good percentage of people. Those kids who are being sent off to Langston, they're going down there unprepared. So
But-
that's part of the reason why
Right.
they're flunking out or not finishing.
Here's where this whole thing with what's going on with the latest move with Project 2025, Trump administration, and eliminating critical race theory from scholastic and academic curricula, because that speaks to this whole thing. What I mean by that is, in order to understand where we are today as a people, it starts back much
Exactly.
further than just the
Yeah.
parents.
Right.
For, and I know this people will say, oh, this is a race card, but it's true. For 400 years,
Right.
you know, you're looking at a
A
group of
mentality.
people, right,
Yeah.
who have been mentally, emotionally, physically, economically beat down.
Yeah.
And so there are certain things, and I'm not making excuse. I'm just saying
Right.
this is what it is. And so we have really, and you compare it to like the Asians and other people that are coming to this country, they're coming to this country from an environment and a context where they were not made to feel
Right.
like
That's true.
3/5 or 1/5
That's
or whatever
true.
of a human being.
Mhm.
You know, they're not coming from an environment where they were told they're stupid. They were told that they
Right.
were garbage and whatnot.
Mhm.
So part of the healing is we really need a psychological, emotional, spiritual healing
Mhm.
to take place where some of these students need to understand that you are more than just a partier or a drinker.
Yes.
You can succeed. You can
Right.
excel.
Right.
And so, yes, I'm not, everything we're saying is true. But I also, you know, to an 18-year-old student
Mhm.
who has been, sometimes they're putting our kids in special ed merely
don't need to
because
be.
they're black.
And they don't need
And
to
they
be
don't need to
special ed.
be.
Yeah.
They're putting them on
Exactly.
medication
Medicine, and they
merely
don't need
because
to
they're
be.
going right. And so the idea is that we're not, you know, we have an issue with our self-esteem when it comes to things like that, because we go into these things thinking we can't do it, and people are telling us we can't
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
And a lot of times there's not an advocate in the home or a parent saying, no, my kid doesn't need medication or special ed. They can do it.
Yeah.
Right.
They're coming home and it's like they're not getting that positive reinforcement,
Yeah.
you know?
Well, this is where I have to interject. I'm going into the heavenlies. Just be
Go
ready
into
for
the
it.
heavenlies.
Um,
Courtney's not here. She usually, in
the
fact, that's how
Bible
she got
says-
sick.
Yeah. The Bible says, without a vision, the people perish.
Yes.
I'm going to start from, yes, we do have to recognize that for hundreds of years, we were made to feel less than a person. But then at some point, number one, we have to acknowledge that our people, and I'm talking about black because I'm a black person, we stepped away from God because we want to be like everybody else. We have to recognize that, own up to it, and then come back to get the vision for our lives. I remember my mom sitting us down and telling us, you are someone because God created you. You know, where are the conversations with the parents saying, you don't need to get on TikTok and show all of your stuff because
Right.
you're worth more than that.
Exactly.
Where the person, by the time they get to college, have we been having these conversations that saying your worth is not in your body?
Right.
You don't have to look like the stereotype that they say.
Right,
So I
right.
tell my friends when we're talking all the time is that why do we celebrate as black people? Sometimes I find that the stereotypical things, we find that we cleave more to that
Right.
than knowing about Thurgood Marshall, knowing about Harriet Tubman, knowing about, but we know
Dr.
Slim
Charles
Weezy or I don't even know the rapper's
Slim,
name.
who?
Slim Weezy or 250 or who are these people? You know, the rappers. But we know everything from the lyrics of their song, but we don't know black
We don't
history.
know our history.
You know what I'm saying? My thing is we have to know who we are in God. So as a parent, as a teacher, as a leader, I'm pointing at all of us for not pouring the vision into the kids.
Right. And I agree with you 100%. I think that the best case is being in a church where that is being taught, right? However, even outside of the church, because many of these we're talking now social in terms of people that are in the church, outside the church, what have you. As a baseline level of morality, you know, there should be an understanding as a people that we are and that our young people are worth something.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
what's happening is they're getting into these schools and they're feeling, not even being in school, they're walking around feeling inadequate.
Yeah.
And that goes back to the reason why they're buying
All of
$1,000
these jeans
bags
yeah.
and jeans,
Mhm.
because psychologically, when you feel less than,
Right.
You have to
then
fill it.
right,
Yeah.
you have
It's like
something.
a void that
Right.
has to be filled.
Yes.
If I may, when I grew up and I realized I was poor. Now I have to say that because sometimes you don't even realize until you get into these places like college and they're
Right.
just spending their credit cards. I remember going to
Yeah.
SLU and the books were $200,
Books are crazy.
$300 a book.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at my money because unfortunately I was a bad kid. I got kicked out at 17. But anyway, so I was
You
paying
got
for
kicked out of where at 17?
kicked out of my house. at
Your
17.
house is 17.
Yeah.
You say you got kicked out your house at 17?
We're not gonna talk about that.
Let's hear that.
No. But anyway, so I was paying for college and I'm working a job 40 hours a week and I'm watching them, just put it on my credit card. And I'm like, can I copy your book so I can do my homework? You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
yeah.
Right.
So then you have this realization, I'm not like them. I can't do what they can do.
Right.
But until, like, again, I have to go back to that. Somewhere, people around you have to ground you and say, you may not be able to, but that doesn't reflect on your worth.
Right.
You
Right.
may not be able to do it, but that doesn't make you less
Right.
than.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And see, Langston University is not the disease. It's a symptom.
Symptom.
Exactly.
That this whole thing is symptomatic
Yeah.
of a sickness
Yeah.
within our culture.
I totally
That
agree.
Yes,
that
that's good.
you know, voting for what is it, Kamala or
Yeah.
Trump
Yeah.
will not stop.
Solve the
Voting for
problem.
Obama or voting for this policy, it will not stop.
Mhm.
There's a sickness within our culture that we have to talk about
Yeah.
honestly and
Yeah.
openly.
Yeah.
And the people that talk about it have to be people that love
Yes.
our people,
Yes.
not people who are talking about. That's right. Not people who are talking about it from a standpoint of wagging a finger,
No.
not like the
Or thinking they're the savior that's going to fix everything.
or they're the savior, or not even like the there was a instance where Bill Cosby was giving, I think he called it the whatever, he was addressing a group of black
Mhm.
teens or black people. So he goes on this rant about what black people need to do, and it came across as very
Condescending.
condescending and not to. I mean, he's absolutely right. I hate
Yeah,
to
I
see
hate sagging pants.
people that sag,
Yeah.
right? But people can tell if you're saying these things out of love or you're saying these things out of just sheer disgust and judgment and condemnation.
I agree.
True.
And that's not going to produce anything. And
Yeah.
so, we have a sickness within our community, and Langston is a symptom of that. A 5% graduation rate where people are more interested in partying than graduating.
Yeah. I don't have the exact statistic, but they always talk about it. Children in the ages of, 5 to 8 or 7, that's their formative. Their self-worth is built in that age bracket. Because the thing is, they know who they are, or they know I'm worth something during that. And a lot of times, by the time we get to Langston, these students or these young individuals have been fighting to find out if they're worth something
Right.
all their life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you're exactly right that it's a symptom of the problem. So, the one thing that I pose all the time is, why are we, our community, not talking to one another? I keep saying that if somebody has a problem, the instance at my job, or with the company that I work for, I'm not saying the name,
Names.
but
Popeye's Chicken. She works for Popeye's.
why did we have a situation where nobody connected?
Yes.
You know what I'm
yes,
saying?
right.
Nobody connected.
Mhm.
And it's the same thing in the black community. Like you said,
Mhm.
a lot of us go and talk at people, but we're not talking with people. And I thank God so much that we were able to see this movie. What's the name of it? The Forge?
Mhm.
Because
good.
when I say in this movie, the way they approached it was so beautiful and so wonderful and so holistic that I literally, it changed my mind about some things.
Let me pause you right there. Look at your screens, because guess what?
What? What?
You see your oh, yeah, there's a delay. Forge takes accessible approach to bringing faith and discipleship back to Hollywood. This is a movie that you were just talking about. Wonderful segue. Wonderful segue. The special edition.
I loved it.
Oh, okay, let me start. Brought to us by the Kendrick brothers, the new devotional film tells a story of Isaiah Wright, Aspen, who played by Aspen Kennedy, a 19-year-old who's 1 year out of high school and still unsure about what he wants to do with his life. He enrolls in Langston University now.
You're playing.
With a passion for basketball and video games, Isaiah can easily get lost with time while engaged in a serious game on the court or online. But with no job, no direction, or understanding of what it means to be a man, his single mom, Cynthia, played by Priscilla Schreier, is losing her patience and praying for a positive shift in her son's life. As a last resort, Cynthia gives Isaiah a stark ultimatum: step up or move out.
Move out, yeah.
Torn between the influences. Let me pause right here and just say
That's
something. You know, on Wednesday night during our Bible class, one thing that I said is that at 18, 19, young men and young women need to begin to separate from the influences that shaped them, right? And this, I didn't see the movie, but hearing this whole thing where this mother, as juxtaposed against like a movie or this idea of Baby Boy, where, you know, as a mother, you want your grown man son to sleep on your couch until he's 35 years old, and you know, you're taking care of his kids, and you're basically letting him live the life of a ne'er-do-well, and you're supporting that.
Right.
And here this woman is saying, no, you have to get your stuff together and get ready to pack up. Okay. So let's see. At last resort, Cynthia gives Isaiah a stark ultimatum: step up or move out. Torn between the influences of his friends and the pressure from his mom, Isaiah lands a job at More Fitness, unaware of how profoundly the owner will shape his life. Guided by his mother's prayers and the unexpected support of a new mentor, Isaiah confronts his past, lets go of his selfishness, and begins to uncover a great purpose for his life through faith. All right. Speaking with Black Enterprise, Kennedy cited the personal connection he felt with the character, having also been raised by a single mom. I was raised by a single mom, and I didn't have my dad around. So just being able to know who God has been in my life as a father, he explained. It's the same journey Isaiah has been, and it has been a blessing. Schreier hit the red carpet with, let's see, go down. Okay, let me just read this
Go
right.
see it.
We do. This is only going to be in theater a couple of days.
Right.
The movie is about discipleship, especially if you're raised in the church. I think this movie reminds us of the foundation of our faith, which is in discipling each other. Okay, so that kind of speaks to some of the things you were saying.
It was wonderful. When I say again, holistically, they approach this young man, which, you know, I was sitting by Rita at the movie, and immediately when I saw him walk, there's a part where he walks in and tries to flirt with somebody. I'm like, look at him, how dare he? You know,
Talking about in real life, someone walked in.
No,
Okay, I'm thought. Okay, I thought y'all was over there hollering.
no.
Okay.
But immediately I went to that judgmental state,
Yes.
like, how dare he? And Rita's like, hey. And I'm like, don't you tell me. And then I watched the movie. And immediately I said, God, forgive me.
Yeah.
Because the way that the mentor went and approached it, and he saw past the outside and really saw that there was a need. I'm like, God, I need
That's the
help
way
doing
we're
that more
supposed to
often.
be.
You know,
Yeah.
and when I say to you, this movie has inspired me to look at those that I can help out, you know, in that way.
Right.
I don't want to tell the movie because you're going to say it.
Okay,
You're going to
that's
see it.
it.
But there's a part where when he brings them the whole discipleship and every facet of life, like you talked about on Wednesday, they brought in to make sure not only that this young man went from where he was, but that he was successful in
Right.
it. And when I say that, literally blew my mind. So when he talks about, discipleship in the church, it has made me wonder, have we been lacking in some of it? And I'm talking about self-reflection too.
Yeah.
Is that when we say, okay, we tell them, oh, you need God. But if they're coming from a place, I know I do, but how? You know what I'm saying? Do we say, God bless you, be at peace? Or do we take them by the hand and help them get there? You know
Well,
what I'm saying?
I think the key in
Oh,
go ahead. The key in this is that that's his mother started that,
Yeah, she
and
did.
so
But that's what I mean, the holistic approach. Because if his mother didn't do that, he wouldn't have went to go look for the
Right.
job. So, going back to the Langston, I keep wanting to say something.
Langston.
College. But Langston College, that's why I was saying parents,
Yeah.
administrators, teachers, school, neighborhood people.
Right.
Everybody has a hand in this.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they're responsible, but we have influences with everybody around us. And
Right.
unfortunately, in society today, we've got to a point where, not my job.
First, you're gonna say something.
I lost.
I'm sorry about
No,
that.
I lost my train of thought.
We're talking about discipleship and in
I
the
think
church.
sometimes it starts with the examples that we set.
Mhm.
Sometimes we're telling you need to get saved. You got to come, and yet they see us
Mhm.
fearful, stressed out, or not glorifying God and being grateful for what God has done. They see us murmuring and complaining. If an outsider is looking in at the average Christian today, what is it about our lifestyle that is drawing them to Christ? Not, sometimes, like you said, we're judgmental, we're critical, or we're turned off by people who don't act like us, dress like us, and all that. Sometimes we look down and we can be judgmental. I was very happy because I do have family members who are unsaved. And my first inclination sometimes is to start preaching or lecturing.
Yeah.
I didn't do that this time. I'm like,
Amen.
meet them where they are. They're not saved, but you don't get into what they're doing. That's not who you are. That's not what you do. Be an example. Be a godly example and stop being so, you need to get saved, because that doesn't win souls for Christ. That doesn't encourage people to change from the lifestyle.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes we, as you were saying, sometimes we have to, be mindful of our witness.
Yeah.
Because people are always watching, especially the world, because
They
the world
are.
wants to jump out the bush. I
Gotcha.
knew that Christian wasn't,
Gotcha.
that's what they want to do. And that's, why it's,
Well, then it starts with parents at home or whoever the guardian is, because the way the Bible structures this
Right.
is that the Bible and parents and the training and nurturing of
Yes.
children starts within the home.
Yeah.
Charity begins at home. And so that is, if you have a child, then morally and biblically,
duty and
your
assignment.
duty is to raise your child.
Right.
I'm raising my son,
Right.
and I, as much as possible, will be a good influence for other people. But at the end of the day, I'm going to stand in judgment. And I'm not talking about as a pastor, maybe this
Right,
is,
right.
but just as a father, for my son, for
For
and
you put into
for what I
him
put
and
into
taught,
my
yeah.
son. And so the only way that this whole thing can work is if let's look at what happened in Georgia with this shooting, high school shooting.
Yes.
Yeah, that made
So
This
sad.
young 14-year-old went and
Oh,
shot up
God.
a high school.
Yeah.
4
Right.
people lost their life.
I know.
He is being tried as an adult, as he should.
And his
Right.
father is being
And
arrested.
his father has also been arrested because his father gave him an AR-15 after he was already making threats online.
Right.
So the father was arrested for doing that. The breakdown in this situation is what the father has taught or allowed
Right.
in the home for his son.
That's terrible.
The breakdown of the home is the beginning or of everything else.
Right.
Right. The
Everything
breakdown of the
Yeah.
family unit.
Right.
And
Amen.
in the Bible, nothing replaces the family
Nothing.
unit.
Right.
There's no other substitute or surrogate for the family unit.
That's right.
Right.
And the reality is that in going from Langston, where you have kids who are going and partying, in versus this story. I know it's fictional in the movie. The mother took time to strongly steer her
Yes.
son
Exactly.
to a place of
Yeah.
health. So, you know,
That's
Amen.
good.
I like that.
but I do want to see the movie. I mean, I think
It's
that
wonderful.
I can't wait to see
It's
it.
wonderful.
I cannot.
I really, really liked it. You know,
Yeah.
I did. That's
that
all I'm gonna say.
good?
Because if I say too much, I'm gonna tell them. So, but it was wonderful.
That's good. I can't wait to see it. But it sounds like she's to be commended. Because she gave that ultimatum. He was 17 coming out of high school.
right.
There are parents who have
I know another
sons
parent
20,
that gave an
30
ultimatum.
Like, you have to do this or that. She didn't allow him to.
17, right? Same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, like, if you're not going to abide by the rules in this house, then you gotta go. And I commend a mom who does that, because so many times, especially Black mothers,
Yeah.
we really do enable our sons, or we spoil our sons, and we mother them to death.
Yeah.
You know, we don't really put them in a situation where they have to choose, like she did, choose to do
Yeah.
this
Absolutely.
or that. You know, so
Yeah.
I commend her for that, and I commend
do
your
too.
mom for that too.
Yeah, and
Bravo.
Stacy, you are a success story,
Yes.
Thank you.
and you really are. You are a
Thank you.
success story, and for everyone who didn't do right,
Yeah.
there are people like Stacy
Amen.
who can show that, look, no matter what, everyone can become and turn their
Absolutely.
life into
Amen.
something to be proud of.
Amen.
You know, you have
And
a
give your life to
testimony.
Christ,
Yeah.
and He has ordered your steps.
Yes, He
You know,
has.
You have
Right.
a powerful testimony.
Yes, He has.
So.
Another thing I talked about Wednesday night is this movie, and I'm not recommending this movie, by the way. I hate mentioning movie. I mean, it's not a bad movie, but I'm still not recommending it.
Yeah.
This movie called Perfect Days, and it was about this Japanese man
Oh,
who
I heard
went out.
Mhm.
One of the things he said in this movie, he said that his niece was asking him a question about why he no longer interacts with his sister, and he distanced himself from his sister, and why they don't talk. And he responded to his niece. He said, "Me and your mother, his sister, we live in two different worlds." He said, the world is made up of many different worlds, meaning that in the same city, the same church, the same family, you have one person whose life looks like this,
Right.
but then across town, across the aisle, you have someone else whose experience and whose life is completely different,
Right.
almost like they're in a whole nother world.
Yeah.
And I say that to
Even among families.
even among
Right.
families.
Absolutely.
We've been talking here about young people struggling to find purpose, struggling to get ahead, struggling to, climb out of institutional racism and things like that. But this other story depicts a whole nother world. Get this. Disney obsessed couple loses lawsuit to get back into exclusive Club 33. Now listen to this story.
That story.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I've never heard this.
The club's yearly dues were 31 yearly dues
you
were
must understand
$31,500 yearly.
Oh my goodness.
And with travel and hotel expenses, the Arizona couple was spending close to $125,000 annually.
Insane.
$125,000 a year to be a part of Club 33, Disneyland, this special little club in Disneyland. Disney revoked their membership after an allegation that Scott Anderson was drunk in public.
Wow.
As members of Disney's exclusive Club 33, Scott and Diana Anderson, I think Larissa is she likes Mickey Mouse, doesn't she?
Minnie Mouse.
As Minnie Mouse, okay. As members of Disney's exclusive club, no. As members of Disney's exclusive Club 33, Scott and Diana Anderson visited the two Anaheim theme parks 60 to 80 times a year.
Wow.
Keep in mind this
All
story
that
about
money.
Langston, kids fighting for their life, right? The private club with its wood-paneled trophy room and other amenities was the center of their social life. They brought friends, acquaintances, business associates. As a couple, they went to the Haunted Mansion ride nearly 1,000 times.
Who has time to do that?
The club's yearly dues were $31,500. And with travel, hotel expense, the Arizona couple was spending close to $125,000
I know.
annually to get their Disney fix. All of it came to an end in 2017 when Disney revoked their membership. Hold on. When Disney revoked their membership in the club after an allegation that Scott Anderson was drunk in public.
Allegation, no proof.
Well, we're getting into that, First Lady. Diane Anderson, a hardcore Disney aficionado since childhood, called it a stab in the heart.
These are adults.
We got folks fighting for their life and she's stabbing heart over Disney. I told you, there's many different worlds.
Yeah.
There's many different worlds. These people are insane.
That's crazy.
They need to go to Langston. The Andersons, both 60, so we're talking about grown folks.
Yes,
Wow.
well over.
Grown folks have spent the years since then, and watch this, hundreds of thousands of dollars trying to get back into Club 33. These people have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars trying to get back into Club 33. On Tuesday, an Orange County jury, so they took this thing to court. Let me tell y'all something. These folks will sue.
Yeah,
There are some people
They
in this, they will sue.
Yeah.
Jury rejected their claim that Disney ousted them improperly. It had taken the Andersons more than a decade to gain membership in Club 33. So it takes a decade to even get in Club 33, which includes an access to exclusive lounges, dining, VIP tours, and special events. Kind of like our green room here. They finally made it off the waiting list in 2012. They finally became part of this special place, their attorney, Sean McKayas, told the jurors in the civil trial. That was their spot. That was their happy place.
They're happy place.
Their home.
Wow. This is
About
this is
It's great. About 9:50. So this gets to your observation first, lady. About 9:50 p.m. September 3rd, 2017. Security guards found Scott Anderson near the entrance of the California Adventure, displaying signs of what they took to be intoxication, including slurred speech and trouble standing, according to trial testimony. So this brother got just straight up. He needs to go to Langston. His breath smelled of alcohol quite a lot, one of the guards said in court. The club swiftly ousted them. McKay said Scott Anderson had 2 to 3 drinks, and that Disney did an incomplete and slipshod investigation with no breathalyzer or blood test. I didn't know Disney World had breathalyzers, and no videos of Anderson's behavior that night. They have not established that Mr. Anderson was intoxicated, McKay said. Instead, he argued, Anderson's symptoms, get this, were the result of a vestibular migraine, which can be triggered by red wine. Among the drinks Anderson consumed that day. In effect, McKay has argued, Disney was punishing Anderson for a medical condition. A medical expert testified for the Andersons that the symptoms of vestibular migraine could be confused with intoxication, with a neurologist hired by Disney. So Disney hired a neurologist, countering that Anderson's behavior was more like the consequences of drinking. The September 27 incident was not the first time, get this, that Anderson had run afoul of Club 33 management. The year before, Diana had been briefly suspended for using some salty language, a couple F words, as McKay has put it. McKay has told jurors,
salty language.
right, that the Anderson filed suit against Disney vindicate their reputation. He doesn't want us to be known as drunk, McKay has said. They love that place. They took the fight to Disney because of it's his name. In their complaint, the Andersons asked to be reinstated to Club 33 with $10,000, 500 reimbursement for 4 months of unused membership in 2017. They also wanted $231,000, roughly equal to 7 years in the club. This is where it gets really absurd. John Lee Phillips, attorney representing Disney, said Club 33 membership guidelines forbid public intoxication. They did not want to pay the consequences of failing to follow the rules, Phillips told jurors, adding that Scott's conduct cost his wife's 40 years her lifetime dream of having access to her. This was her dream to get into Club 33.
Wow.
The security guards no longer work for Disney, were more credible than the Anderson, Phillips says. What possible reason did the security guards have to lie to you? Let me skip down to
Wow.
Crazy.
my wife and I are both dead set that this is absolute wrong, and we will fight this to the death.
To the death.
Scott, who owns a golf course in Gilbert, Arizona, told the Times, there's no way we're letting this go. He said the lawsuit has cost him about $400,000.
And they're 60.
And you're still.
My retirement is set back 5 years, he
Oh, my
said.
goodness.
I'm paying through the nose. Every day I'm seeing another bill, and I'm about to keel over. He said he will appeal. His wife said she wants to keep fighting.
Oh my God.
I'll sell a kidney, Diana said.
Oh,
I don't
my
care.
goodness.
Oh my gosh, that's insane.
This is absolutely insane.
It's that entitled attitude.
Well,
you know.
now I'm gonna ask you your opinion on this, because this is what one thing I thought.
This is crazy.
Club 33 is able to enforce and stand by more rules sometimes in the church.
Yes.
In other words, Club
yes.
33 says
Right.
you can't do this, you can't do that, you're out. This is Mickey Mouse. And yet in the church,
Right.
there's all kinds of compromise. We let ministers
Yes.
and
Yeah.
everybody act any old kind of way.
Right.
Why is it that Club 33 has more of a standard than God's church, where we don't even hold each other accountable,
That's
for a
true.
lot of stuff? But Club
Right.
33 is shutting it down.
Right.
You violated our, what is it, code of conduct,
Yeah.
you're out, or you can't participate in this.
Yeah.
And I read that, I was like, wow,
Right.
how is it that
Wow.
they're not afraid to enforce a standard? I mean, no public intoxication. That's pretty good.
I mean,
Right.
seriously.
But here you have situations where, in the Christian church at large, people are showing up drunk. I'm not talking about sinners. I mean,
Right.
people in the
people
church.
in the church.
Right.
They drink, they go out and do crazy
marijuana.
stuff. You got preachers in Atlanta talking about growing weed at the church.
Right.
And everybody's, oh, that's a good thing. That's
Why
wonderful.
is that good?
How's Club 33 have a standard that sometimes the church doesn't have?
Well, I think the church, we the
Come on,
church is
Spurs. Get it
different.
out. Get it out.
The church is, because God is the head of the church, and God is a God of mercy and second chances and all that. In the church, we can't treat the church like a secular entity or a club where only, if you mess up, that's it, you're out.
Well, but I'm not
God's
talking about
grace.
sinners. I mean a standard among
amongst them.
the
Absolutely. Right.
the
That's true.
leadership. I'm not talking about sinners. Sinners
Right.
can come in and
Right.
they can be drunk. But I mean,
The
in terms of
saints or
code of
leadership.
conduct among pastors
Right.
and
right.
elders, who the Bible says, the
Have to be
qualifications,
blameless.
Yeah.
right?
They have
You
to be
cannot be
blameless.
given to strong drink. You
Right,
cannot do
right,
this. You cannot be
exactly.
effeminate.
Right.
Mhm.
That's what I mean. We're cutting down the qualification, not for sinners,
Right.
but for people who should be beyond that reproach. How can the blind lead the blind?
That's right.
You know?
That's good.
That's
true.
right.
That's true. I think compromise.
I
The church
see it
trying to be
here.
like.
Oh, what's going on? We got to talk real loud, Rita.
That's what I was gonna say. Compromise.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Sometimes leaders or the people who's supposed to uphold God's standard compromise and don't say anything and push things under the rug because sometimes they know they're doing something wrong in their own
Mhm.
life. So how dare I say something to this person when I know I'm secretly sinning or I'm dabbling in something I know God said, lay down. So how can I confront you?
Mm-hmm.
And say, you're not supposed to do that when I know I have my own thing. So sometimes they just brush it off or act like they don't see or be in denial
Yeah.
because of their own inner issue
Right.
versus holding up the standard of
Yeah.
whether or not they secretly sin or not. This is what God says. We're supposed to do this. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, but that's not how
It's crazy.
Well, I'm gonna just say it like this. We can't hold up the standard and attack the devil when there's pieces of the devil in us.
Absolutely.
And
Right.
that's just
That's
the
what
truth.
Rita was saying,
Even Jesus himself said, we're talking about the devil, that he has nothing in me. So
Mhm.
that's why I can come against him, paraphrasing for
Right.
all those. Yeah,
Yeah.
paraphrasing.
Rachel,
But-
I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
I was in Rachel Wingle had a good point. She said there needs to be a psychological evaluation because at this point, it's no longer healthy, fun, but destructive. I agree, Rachel.
Yeah.
These people, there's something wrong with them.
That's-
I'm not saying that
Right.
facetiously. I
crazy.
mean, that just the risk your retirement over Club 33. Speaking of insane people, a couple more stories. I know we're going over, but
That's
bear
good.
with me.
These are good stories.
Good. Trump
Interesting.
threatens to jail Mark Zuckerberg for life. You read this right. Donald J. Trump.
Oh my goodness.
Everybody don't think we're living the Twilight Zone. Donald J. Trump threatens to jail Mark Zuckerberg. Who is Mark Zuckerberg, First Lady?
The Facebook.
Yes, CEO, founder of Facebook. Good job, First Lady. Don't clap like she's a little Hercules. You felt that, First Lady? Good job.
I was not trying to talk.
You see that, First Lady? You see that, First Lady? I got your back, First Lady. I got your back. Did you see that, Rita? Did you see that? All right. All right, so Trump threatens to jail Mark Zuckerberg for life. In an upcoming book, the former president continues to spread election conspiracies about the Meta. See, this guy looks, he looks very strange, Mark Zuckerberg, right? Donald Trump wrote a book, and in true to form, it contains some deeply unbalanced textual musings. According to Politico, the coffee table book titled Saving America accuses Mark Zuckerberg of plotting to usurp the 2020 election in favor of President Joe Biden and warns that the Meta CEO will spend the rest of his life in prison if he crosses Trump again. The book, which will be released next week, features a photo of Zuckerberg and Trump during an undated meeting in the White House. According to Politico, in the caption under the photo, Trump claims that Zuckerberg would come to the Oval Office to see me. He would bring his very nice wife to dinners, be as nice as anyone could be, while always plotting to install shameful lock boxes in a true plot against the president. We are watching him closely, Trump adds. And if he does anything illegal this time, he will spend the rest of his life in prison. Watch this. Now, this is not funny. As will others who cheat in the 2024
Oh my gosh.
presidential election.
So if he loses, he's going to accuse people of cheating, like he did in 2020.
That's what he said.
If
So
he
he's-
wins, he's locking people up. If
Of
he
course.
wins, he is going to arrest
Yeah.
his political enemies.
Yes, he is. He's made that clear.
Right. People who have been outspoken and put them in jail. And I mean, this is something where people, I don't know.
That's
It is a mess. It is a mess.
That's crazy. I mean, you know who does that? We've never had a presidential candidate who's talking about locking the people up for the First Amendment, which is freedom of speech.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I mean,
Yep.
oh,
Hey,
I'm
this
so
is who he
tired of
is.
this craziness getting an audience and a platform.
Well, all I
Right.
know is if he wins, I'm taking all this HOD Live tapes down. I'm taking them all, because I ain't going. I'm not going. I'm taking it all down. HOD Live will be canceled. So, okay. One more quick story. This is good news for First Lady because we talked about this before, but in the broadcast in the podcast, we talked about how Red Lobster had fallen on hard times. You will be glad to know Red Lobster is out of bankruptcy. Look at your phone. They got a new CEO, a 35-year-old brother.
I saw that.
Oh, did you? He's a CEO.
Yeah. Oh, okay, yeah.
35-year-old CEO plotting Red Lobster's comeback. Come on, y'all. plotting Red Lobster's comeback. Former PF Chang, he used to be CFO
Yes,
of PF Chang.
Now I like PF Chang.
Yeah.
Now I like PF Chang.
Leader promises better service,
Okay.
better food, better interiors,
Better
but no more $20 unlimited shrimp. Rita. No more $20 shrimp. Rita, you lost my vote. No more unlimited shrimp on the standard menu. For 3 months this year, a diner hit, what's it, Red Lobster across the country. The diner hit Red Lobsters across the country to assess the quality of the main lobster tail.
All right,
And
do
the
your
comfort,
reconnaissance.
right, and the comfort of the New England inspired interiors. He found a lot of love for the brand and plenty that need sprucing up.
All right.
Now, Damola Adamukun has shared his identity as Secret Seafood Sleuth. Also, he went undercover
Good job.
to these restaurants.
Okay, what's his name again, real quick? Can I put this plug in?
Damola Adam is an African name.
Okay, people that like crab, can we have more than just one on the plate?
No,
Can we have like
no.
6 or 7. I'm just saying.
You're getting carried away now. You're
I'm
getting carried
sorry. I
away.
just want to put that out
I
there.
agree with that.
Adam Mola, a private equity executive who was selected by Red Lobster's lenders to become its chief executive officer, his chief exec, as it emerges from bankruptcy, is out of bankruptcy, has organized his life by having a plan and sticking to it. He's run that play repeatedly, even at 35 years old.
Look at you.
The son of a Nigerian neurologist, Adam won a $10,000 prize from a high school speech competition. This brother did not go to Langston, and used the proceeds to seed his first stock portfolio at age 16. What were you doing at age 16? What was I doing at age 16? What were you doing? I mean, this is crazy, right? What were we doing? This brother had stock portfolio. In high school in Maryland, a coach encouraged him to pursue playing football at top area schools such as Georgetown and Johns Hopkins. Adam Lukin went further. He assembled a highlight reel of his football plays and packaged it with academic background to send it to all 8 Ivy League colleges he dreamed of attending. A few schools called him, and he eventually landed at Brown University, where he played free safety on the football team. Adam, who recently ran Pan Asian PF Chang's, is now set to take charge. You like PF Chang's? Is now set to take charge of Red Lobster. The 56-year-old, look at that.
I'm going back.
We coming back, Red Lobster. We coming back.
We coming back.
We coming back. The 56-year-old seafood chain has sustained. Your father used to love Red Lobster. Come on now.
That's why I don't like it. We
Come
have to
on.
go on every
But it's a new
occasion.
guy.
It's a new
He
guy.
went undercover.
Yes.
He's gonna do
And they have a long history of the black community, Red Lobster. We talked about it in the podcast, remember? The 56-year-old seafood chain has sustained tens of millions of dollars in losses thanks to Rita West and suffered a revolving door of her shrimp. CEO's dozen restaurant closed in May. Through the bankruptcy process, Red Lobster's lenders bid on the chain and picked a new CEO for when a judge signed off on the deal. When Red Lobster's new leader stood before a room full of employees at the company's Orlando, Florida headquarters in late August to offer a desperately needed pep talk, Adams said he would help the company's new strategy focus on improving its food operations, restaurant, marketing. Turnaround is coming. Change is coming. Change is coming. He and the company would develop their plan together in the coming months, and they would stick with it. There's a lot of ways to win in life, but everyone has to know what the plan is. What do you say about a vision?
Vision.
That's right.
People perish without a vision.
Is my general view on things, Adams said during the town hall, according to the recording viewed by the Wall Street Journal. Look at his brother is right here. That's a nice Red Lobster restaurant.
I can't see it yet.
Oh, okay.
Look at that.
That's nice. Just don't expect the plan to include endless shrimp whenever you show up. Let me read that again for Rita's sake. Just don't expect Rita West the plan to include endless scrimp. Not shrimp, but scrimp whenever you show up.
Oh, man.
Putting unlimited shrimp on the day-to-day menu for $20 last year helped turn Red Lobster, once among the casual dining chains to go national, into the biggest food service bankruptcies by
Oh,
assets and
wow.
liabilities.
Wow.
No more endless
No
shrimp.
more endless shrimp.
No more.
Womp, womp, womp.
College colleagues have described Adam as an ambitious executive who thrives on challenges, reviving Red Lobster. How can Red Lobster revive and not church? Reviving Red Lobster. We come on, folks. We gotta do better. We can't let Red Lobster have revival, not the church. Exec said is one of the industry's toughest. Ultimately, the question is whether or not he is a wartime CEO. They're planning for war, said Fred LaFranc,
'Cause
a
he bringing
restaurant.
it back.
He bringing it back.
He mean business.
He does.
I salute you.
I do too. He talks about the losing bet on shrimp. They won't let this shrimp.
They won't let it go.
Look at those lobsters right there. Look at those lobsters. They're coming
I
up.
don't see it yet.
Yeah,
Let's see. It's all about being the best. Listen, it's all about being the best of whatever you choose.
Yeah.
And that's something.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my attitude. That's
Mhm.
really nice.
You
There
know,
he
some-
is right there. Look at him.
Where?
He's coming up. Brother's staring out the window.
Yeah.
Look at him.
Yeah,
Young
he does.
guy, yeah.
Something I
Young guy.
want to point out from
Dorothy, see if he's single, and you know, if do whatever you know. This Red Lobster, everybody marry him. Right. Okay, so that's it. Sampling crab legs. Let's see. He started visiting Red Lobster restaurant May, scoping out locations, sampling the surf and turf. He was impressed with the quality of food and was done well, including the crab legs. Okay. As a Marylander who grew up eating, I don't believe that. I don't believe that Red Lobster's crab legs compared to Maryland. I think
No,
he's
they
just
don't.
he's
He's being
yeah,
kind.
he's being
being
very
kind.
kind.
Marketing.
I just want them to put more than one on the plate.
He talked to customers, including an 81-year-old woman named Betty, who had eaten at Red Lobster since the 70s.
Wow.
Named Betty.
She still celebrated milestones at one in Orlando. See that? People that love Red Lobster.
I mean, seniors
Look at that.
especially. You know, we used to go for special occasions with my dad.
Camille said, "No way Red Lobster's crab legs are that good."
No.
Tell Roscoe to take you, Camille. Find out for yourself.
They're not.
No.
Well,
it's
from
not.
what I've had, they're not.
What do y'all
They're
think?
not.
They're not as good.
That's good. I mean, that's great to see a young entrepreneur, black male.
Yeah.
You know, going to turn it around. I support that. Good for
Are me
him.
and you going?
No, sir. I will not go support it.
No, we ain't gonna support the vision.
No.
Better
I don't-
food, better quality.
I don't
might
know
be
if it
better.
will be better. I think
But you
gotta
can't
try
be
it.
jaded. You can't be
gotta
be
give
bitter
them
over your
forgiveness
last
and
experience.
give it another
Yes.
chance.
It's a stronghold needs to be broken. It's bitterness.
That's not bitterness. I
Yes.
just don't
But
like
you gotta
it.
give it another chance.
So you mean to
another
tell
chance.
me you gonna go out to what's that thing? Cafe Moki, but won't get the brother chance?
Cafe
Now, don't
Mocha,
attack
yeah,
Cafe
Won't get the
Mocha.
brother chance?
Don't attack Cafe Mocha.
Fact, Cafe Moki, we're no longer sponsored by you. We're
No,
sponsored
no,
by Red.
not
This podcast is
not-
officially sponsored
No.
by Red Lobster. Officially. We are a Red Lobster podcast.
Pastor, you
Why
are
you do
mad.
that?
They ain't gonna let us
That's right. Well,
in
I
all
hope it does
seriousness,
revamp, but I hope it does well.
yeah. In all seriousness, I'm going back to what we talked about before. When the story started off, his father
yes.
leading by example,
Right.
you know, giving him
Yes.
the support. I would think. Then I think it talked about his coach. So what we were saying, these different hands in his life that
Yeah.
were steering him,
Yes.
you know,
Right.
helping him along the way. So I'm proud of that
I
young
am
man
too.
at 35.
And at
And
16
then-
years old,
Yes,
investing.
yes.
Our children are investing
Wow.
in sneakers.
Yeah,
after they
and
buy
sneakers.
sneakers. He is investing. Look
Yes.
at where he is.
But that's so wonderful. And then somewhere along, I know his father did what he should because the young man wasn't afraid to step out and try.
Yes.
Exactly.
When what we talked about earlier, that confidence that I can
Mhm.
do this. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Are
right.
we instilling that in our kids when they're young so that they're not going into the world terrified they're not going to like
Right.
me, so it's not going to work?
Right.
That's
You know
an
what I'm saying?
excellent point. He
That is
didn't get this. He
That's
didn't
right.
get to where he is by accident.
Yeah.
Right.
It was
right.
through work and planning and preparation.
Mhm.
He wasn't like the $31,000 Disney club.
Yeah.
couple.
Yeah.
He worked and planned and really did what he was supposed to do.
I had a good
Mhm.
example.
Had a
from
good
his father,
example.
Yeah.
Father,
The coach
family.
putting in,
Right.
and I love that
That's
story.
so awesome. That's
You
a
know,
great
hey,
story.
16-year-olds, look at his example.
Exactly.
Follow this.
Yeah.
You know,
Exactly. Turn Olive Garden is next, right?
no, I'm not
Will
supporting
you
that.
stop,
I'm not
Pastor?
Your
supporting
mother,
Battle.
your mother
My
loves
mother
Olive
loves it,
Garden.
and I
You
don't.
better not talk.
I am talking about it. What?
You gonna get all that liver's gonna be eaten.
Please don't. Why you do
gonna,
that to me? Don't give her ideas.
you gonna get home, ain't nothing gonna be left for you.
Oh, I'll be so
All
mad.
right, first lady's braids are coming out, so we gotta kill this pocket and braids start to untangle. So when she back here, we gotta kill this pocket. I hope you have had a wonderful time
Amen.
here at HOD Live. That's
Good
right.
stories.
Good
Very
stories,
good
good stories. We hope you have a
Awesome.
wonderful, blessed weekend. Enjoy yourself. Stay safe, and we love you. Amen.
Amen.